Welcome marketers, we're Behavio and we're here with some brand new and I think really helpful insights into the recent American commercials. And I'm really thrilled because I genuinely believe that they are detailed and helpful, and they will help you with your marketing decisions and maybe help you with your return on advertising spend and make it a little bit higher, because that's what the advertising is about. And today we really be talking money, how ads are able to make money. Let's connect on LinkedIn, because I also regularly post short tips about similar topics as we're going to be talking today. So I'll be happy to connect and see your challenges and your successes and to understand what you're going through. Today, as we announced, we're going mainly to be talking about concrete US campaigns, which we have decoded by many behavioral metrics, and we're going to be showing what makes them work and what not. But first, for a short, and I promise really short time, we're going to be talking a little bit about the theory, about advertising effectiveness and behavioral science, because there's been a massive progress in the last 1 or 2 decades, and it's really important to know the key principles, and that's for the beginning. Then we're going to have the US campaigns. Finally, I'm going to sum this up into 5 most costly mistakes to avoid, which we're going to see some of them in some of the campaigns, and we're also going to see some commercials which were able to avoid them. And finally, Q&A. I'm really looking forward to the Q&A because it's mainly about the discussion, and that's usually the most fruitful part. So really ask me anything or disagree or whatever. Slido.com is a great app where we gonna have some polls and where you can post questions, which I will be happy to answer. So either enter this number or have this QR code. Okay, and something about Behavio. We're brilliant and budget-friendly brand tracking and ad testing. Budget-friendly really means that we managed to get this to you for a fraction of the traditional costs of the ad testing. So really, today you can test anything all the time, as most of our clients do. You can see some of the very well-known brands here, but we have about, I think, more than 400 happy customers, and often small emerging brands growing fast, also thanks to our data. So that's us. I will not be talking much about our products today, only showing you the campaigns. But if you like the data and anything, I'll be happy to schedule a demo with you and tell you more about our products. Okay. I think that's it. So let's start. As I said, let's start with a short excursion into the theory. And these are, I think, some of the most important books that I really recommend you to read. But I will try to sum them up into the several key principles. And these are big names of marketing science today. Les Binet and Peter Field are the long and short of it books. Then Byron Sharp and Jenny Romaniuk with the How Brands Grow books. And then there is this research about attention, which is Lumen Research, and Karen Nelson Field. And these 3 resources of inspiration in marketing science are really important. What are the main takeaways from that? The first one is that brand marketing is the key to long-term growth. You can grow with performance marketing only when you're really small, but you will necessarily hit a ceiling when you don't put brand marketing into your mix. We don't have today time to explain this. I've just written a LinkedIn article, newsletter about this, so please read it if you want to know more about this, but this is just how it works. The second thing is that no one pays attention to your ads. Like really, it's if they do, it's just a few seconds. So for example, for 30 seconds TV spot, the usual dwell time is less than 14 seconds. And with digital, it's much worse. It's usually even less than 2 seconds. So really, we often try to think about our ads that people want to watch them and they don't watch them much. So that's a problem we have to count in. And finally, the creativity drastically multiplies ads effectiveness. Some of the researchers say it's 11 times more, some 16 times more, whatever it is. It's really not 2 times more, meaning that if you are able to create really good ads, you're gonna have many times more sales effect than with a mediocre ad. So your decisions about where to put logo, branding, how to edit your ad, what idea to choose early on are really important. They are actually much more important than, for example, the targeting. Targeting has some effect, but it's not as big as how the ad looks like. So these are the 2 principles, or sorry, 3, but they are a little bit theoretical. And what we're gonna do today is to be much more detailed and to look into how does this apply into real commercials. And to understand how commercial influences sales, we should be talking a little bit about how we make decisions, because 95% of our decisions, of human decisions, are subconscious. You must have heard about the System 1 fast thinking, which is how we do most of the purchasing decisions. And because there is no time, it's just milliseconds really, so it has to be automated. And basically the basic principle here is a memory retrieval. It's associations, memory maps, and applied to marketing. It works like this. We have some situations in our life, occasions, when we need something. So for example, I want to eat. And what happens when I want to eat, that a particular set of neurons or memories, associations in our heads is activated. And when there is a strong brand, when this is activated, then another network of memory associations of the brand is activated as well. And then I basically want to eat, and I'm thinking about McDonald's or some other brand. Like automatically the brand is readily coming to my mind. It's called brand salience, and it correlates with market shares because we usually choose the first brand that comes to our mind. It's a little bit more complicated if you look into it, and the path from occasion to the brand is often having some other memory structures like benefits, so I want to easily, affordably. And if you want to glue them to the brand, to really connect them, you need to have some distinctive, unique symbols which help you to connect the brand to the need in the way that only your brands get retrieved and not some of your competitors. So for example, when I want to eat with my kids, and I've already seen an ad or bought this Happy Meal, I'm more likely to think about McDonald's because it's kind of a strong memory and it strengthens the neural pathways to my brand. How are these paths made? And there's this basic rule in neuroscience that neurons that fire together wire together, meaning that if 2 things are regularly seen together or heard together, Sorry, we're back. We were just testing your attention span, and if you're still here, you're not the regular ad viewer. So we're here and back to the basic principle of the neuroscience, saying that neurons that fire together wire together, meaning that you create the connections by simply having the two things at the same time together regularly. It's how we learn language. Yeah, when mother repeatedly while breastfeeding says milk, the baby learns the connection, and it's so hardwired into our brains that it has really some crazy crazy things, like with weather presenters in America, where in the rainy states they really are subject to the hate speech, even when you cannot blame them for the bad weather. It just works like that. So this principle is really strong. Back to the brand memory network. You can see that we have the left part is like the need and the brand, and we want to connect them together. So basically, the ad would work if you only were showing people wanting to eat at McDonald's a little bit. But then there is emotion, and there's a lot of talk about emotion today in advertising, but it's a little bit understood. Its role is to amplify the new connection between the need and the brand, because it makes us pay attention to something. Our brain is filtering out most of the noise around, and when we feel emotion, we pay attention and we remember things much more deeply. So remember your oldest memories. Maybe it's usually when you were scared or really happy or something like that. So there are three essentials of an effective brand ad. You have to remind the viewers of the brand. Second, you need to link the brand to the selected need. We're going to be talking later about it, whether it's a category or the occasion or the benefit. And thirdly, you have to boost it, do that effectively, and save money with the strong emotion. But if you only have emotion and you don't have the number 1 or 2, you're just multiplying 0, and that doesn't bring you any money. And that's it. That was for the broadcasting, and now we'll be a little bit more interactive. So I have a first commercial for you. So please get into the Slido where we're gonna have the poll. And my question is, how strong do you think is the emotion where the author is able to make really strong emotional response with this ad? So let's watch it.
Victor, why are you still living with odors? Get back in there and freshen instantly with new Febreze Air Mist. That's right, Febreze now has a new, finer mist that floats in the air longer and quickly fills the room to fight even your toughest odors. Leftover fried fish funk? Instant freshness. Gaming teen odors? Instant freshness. Spray new Febreze Air Mist to keep your home smelling fresh and clean.
So, how strong is the emotion? What do you think? I'm gonna be voting myself. I'm already in a Slido, as you are. So, what I'm gonna rate? I actually think I was a little bit disturbed by all these stinky things and the toilet at the beginning. So I don't think it's really great. Okay, we already have someone be waiting for a while. There should be, I think there's like 50 of us on the stream now, so I think we should be waiting for a little bit more, at least 10 people. Okay, anyway, so you think it's good, and you are right. Actually, this commercial is really great in terms of emotion and everything else. Let's look at the emotion in more detail. It's better than 93 ads, 93% of ads that we have in our benchmark database, where are ads that were recently streamed in the US in the last half a year. And as you can see, it's quite above the average. And yeah, most of the people really love the ads, and the people who are like me and who are feeling a little bit disturbed are just a few person. You can also read what people think about the ad here. Yeah, they can really relate to it, and yeah, people who are disturbed are really a minority here. Here, because I can also show you the app, you can see the word clouds that are during the time, so you can really see that people thought that the beginning was funny, and yeah, there are not much of the peaks in the negative emotion. So that's for emotion. Then let's look at the branding really briefly. You can see that 57% of people were able to correctly write the brand name after seeing the ad, which is quite high. And we also measured this second by second. So you can see here that really it hardly ever gets below 50%, which is pretty great. We do this by showing people first the random part, like 5 seconds or 7 seconds or 2 seconds of the ad, and we ask them to write the name of the brand after seeing this, and this really looks well. And then the last thing I'm gonna show you with this ad is the actual impact, because we also measure, this is not about the ad itself, but about brand. Whether people who were exposed to the ad are having the higher salience, as I was showing you before. Basically, if they are in a given situation and they need an air freshener, whether they will be thinking about Febreze, and they will be much more likely, as you can see. So this ad was really good. Okay, so let's have a second ad, and this is Johnny Walker. Again, now the question is a little bit different. How strong do you think is the branding in this ad? And let's watch it.
Take a walk on the wild side.
She told me to walk that way. She told me to. Boots are made for walking, and that's just what they'll do. One of these days, these boots are gonna walk all over you. Walk, walk, walk the way. Walk, walk, walk the way. Like this. Come on, boots.
So what do you think? How strong is the brand recall here? Did you see the brand clearly in the ad? And I don't think, again, this was good. I'm gonna vote for this, and we already have some votes here. Okay, it seems that we're more skeptical about this. And you can go on with the voting. I will show you the actual results for the representative sample of US consumers. We also do this for the category buyers, but here we have the national repre. And as you can see, yeah, you were right, it's not good. The branding is really low, meaning that only 20% of people who saw the ad actually were able to say that it's correctly that it's for Johnny Walker. Here you can see it during the time, so the branding is only coming quite late at the very end of the ad, and as I told you, after the 14th second, most of the people are not watching anymore. So this is really not good. And also you can see here that you're kind of missing the opportunity of the good emotion, because when you have the emotional peak, people are remembering more. So it's really good to put your branding in those peaks, and then you will be much more effective. Okay, let's go back into our presentation, and I'll be showing you some more ads, but I'll like to structure it with these three things. So first, the branding, how to get it right. Here I have some data that we actually measured, what we did is that we took a bunch of logos of different brands, and we show them to the people randomly. Some of them for 1 second, some of them for 4 seconds. Everyone gets a little bit different combination, and then we were asking the people about what brands they've just seen. And as you can see, if you're a big brand, the people will remember you more. So you'll be instantly more effective. You don't be you can get the branding not as good, but you will still be better. And there is not such a difference between whether your brand is shown for 1 second or 4 seconds. It's better, so it's always advisable to have a longer branding from the beginning to the end throughout the whole ad. But if you're a small brand, as you can see, it becomes a question of life and death, because you really need to have a long exposure of the brand during your ad if you want the people to remember who was this for. How do you do this? Because it's really hard to show the logo in the middle of the screen for the 30 seconds. Right, so that's why the so-called brand codes or distinctive brand assets are so important. Gecko and its creature, the gecko, and I won't be playing you the ads now, the rest of them, but you will be sent an email with a link for our app with all the ads I'm going to show you now, so you can watch them later or look at the different metrics. But this ad basically was this creature talking with our people, so it hardly left the screen. And as you can see, it's pretty cool how good they are in the brand recall throughout the whole ad. It's much over, sometimes it's even 80% or more. So it's really great compared to the United Airlines commercial, where they only introduce the brand at the second half, and still it's less than 40% of people. Yes, it's because the logo is really subtle there, and then even more subtle cue a little bit before with the plane in the background. So that's really not enough, even for the big brand like United Airlines. So really brand a lot. And of course, those brand codes, they are not just born overnight. So it really means that you can be as effective as someone else who was kind of thinking in advance, and he spent the last decade to invest into building some codes that will be distinctive, and that's what allows them to be much more effective in their ads than someone who switches their creative idea every time they have a new commercial. So really be distinctive, choose something which is really different from your competitors, and so that you look like you and nobody else, and then consistently repeat it in all your commercials for a decade. Yeah. And if you're really in the moment that everyone knows your codes, then you can be more playful maybe, because everyone already knows that it's you. So that was the branding. Now the need, how to get it right. And need is something which is commonly referred to as a message in the advertising, but the message is a little bit too wide, because it can mean that you're telling about your features, product features, or trying to persuade people with reasons why you are good. But as we've seen, neurons that wire together, fire together, the other way around. So you don't have to use persuasion. It's a little bit complicated, but you have to show the category, the occasion, or the benefit. Yeah, as you can see here, it's a really small brand, Oatly, growing fast in USA, and they're really showing their brand next to the milk, because they are like the milk, so they want to connect with the category and be thought of in the same situations when people are thinking about milk. Febreze, you've seen the occasion, or like when you want to think about air freshener, for example, at this specific situation when you're throwing out leftovers of a meal. And finally, it can be a benefit like this free iPhone 14 by Verizon. But the problem here is usually that you are good in many, many things, and you want to tell it all to the people. Don't do that. Yeah, put it into the 3 commercials, but not into one, and stay with one message only. As you can see here, Febreze managed to do that, and they're mostly repeating the same message over and over with different, they're displaying it, they're saying it in audio, but it's all about fresh smelling home. While with Verizon, well, they did the good work. It was not a really bad example, but they kind of messed it up with different messages like their awesome network, even before they were telling about the free phone, and some spring savings event. And that made, as you can see with other metrics, that made the effect a little bit lower. Yeah, they paid a lot for that. They had a high reach, but they still were average into the brand live, so that the ad viewers, only few of them had the stronger connection between Verizon and free phone than the non-viewers. And as you can see at the emotion, this was really the thing. People were really, really happy about that, but they only showed it at the very end of the ad. So it was kind of a little bit missed opportunity not to focus only at this free phone. And finally, emotion, how to amplify the ad's effect. And here I'm gonna show you something which I really like. This is Google's or YouTube ABCD framework, and they show this distinction between traditional story arc and effective story arc. And traditional story arc, it used to be a lot of those great commercials we remember from decades ago, with those lead-ins and build-ups, and then some climax with a big reveal, and then the offer and branding. It used to work because people were used to watch more of the ads in commercial breaks or elsewhere. But today, of course, especially in digital, but with television, it's no that better. You just have to grab attention immediately because people are immediately paying attention to something else. So you really have to start high with emotion, then immediately add some saddle brand cues, and then maybe have some unexpected shave, multiple peaks, and more story. All those things are basically for some people who are really interested in your brand and who want more, but what's really important are the first few seconds. Here we have some real life examples of these, again with Febreze. They were pretty great at starting high because they immediately had something funny in the first few seconds. And then there is this example of Amazon holiday ad from last Christmas, where they use this Red Riding Hood fairy tale. And as you can see, they were building it up slowly, and the climax, the highest emotion, came only at the close to the end. So really late for this ad to make a real effect on the brand, and so that on the long-term sales as well. Okay, we're almost there, so please, if you're not in the Slido yet, please go there and write your questions. I promised the 5 most costly ad mistakes. We've been talking about most of them, but it's always good to have them together. So the single most costly mistake is delayed branding. Yeah, so brand in the first 2 seconds in the ads for mobile and first 5 seconds in TV ads. The second mistake is no repetition of brand codes. Always adding something completely new to the next ad, changing the creative concept so that people can tell the brand from what they learned in previous ads. Third one is more than one message. Fourth one different peaks for emotion and brand, not utilizing the amplifying effect of emotion. And fifth one is that if you're a small brand, especially, you really should not be only talking about the benefits. Many times people just need to know that what category you are in and when they should think about you. So really don't think that category is something really basic people don't know. So display your category. And you've seen Febreze, they're a pretty big brand and still showing the occasion and category what they're in. So that's it. And before we jump into your questions, just shortly reminding you that what we did here, we also can do for you. It's really affordable, and we can do A/B testing. We do really big samples so that you can see the details in the different target groups. You get fast results, and you can test really whatever you need. Starting with early ideas and creative concepts, storyboards, draft videos, key visuals, print, outdoor, basically anything. So that's it for today, and let's look at your questions. On which target audience are ads tested? These were, because we can't show you the real client cases into this detail, so this is something we tested at our own expenses, and because we didn't know the precise target groups, we tested it on a representative samples of US consumers. And usually you can switch from the representative sample to the category buyers. We usually advise our customers not to be too restrictive in their samples, because sometimes they can be really surprised that different people of different socio-demographics are actually buying them, and they're substantial. So usually what we do is having a representative sample, and then you can filter it on the actual people who are buying the category. So that's it. How big are representative samples? It's for pre-tests, it's 500, and when we do like post-test, which was this case, usually these cases when we were really measuring the brand lifts, this is 1,000 plus. Wow, the app looks great. Thank you, Kate. Can you also test multiple video concepts and decide which one scores better based on the data? Yeah, I haven't shown you the comparison tabs, but this can be done with the concepts or with the videos. Sometimes we have clients who prefer to decide early on, so they test multiple concepts and they only have one video and test it for some refinements and edits. And then there are brands who really kind of have more of the videos, and then they only decide which one, for example, to air, and they trash other ones. And actually we had a great case with that, with some competition of Red Bull energy drink, and they were testing 3 videos before they aired them, and we were able to tell them that there's really a different performance. The first one was way better than the second one, and that was way better than the third one, and they only aired the first 2, and after half a year we measured the overall impact, and as we were predicting, the first video made much more impact than the second one, but still they saved a lot because they weren't paying for the third video. What is the difference between testing TV ads or static visual banners, price, timing, output? There's no difference in timing, in price, and of course the output. We can put the second by second curves into the static visuals, but everything else is the same. You can also have the verbatims, the quotations of the real respondents, and things like that. So so far, our customers were quite happy with the detail they did. And what we actually do is we don't want, because creative people especially are sometimes thinking that the research is against creativity. What we want to do is not to only have some kind of traffic light saying, well, green goes or stop, red, but really to help everyone involved in the creative process to understand what's happening in there, and then they have the responsibility to decide whether to whatever edit the voiceover or add another brand cue or things like that. Do you use AI? Not for this actually, because well, we have some, of course, machine learnings, for example, when we where we are coding the open questions with, but this actually is helpful so far without AI. So we believe we're focusing all our development efforts into making these methods and metrics really really robust and informative and good. But of course, in the future, we'll be looking into that as well. Is it effective to talk about pricing in commercials? Oh, I'm sorry, that would be a question for a whole new webinar. Of course, if the price is great benefit, this really needs strategic research, which we also do apart from this like apps. And then you really have to understand the market, the positioning, whether the price should be the way that you want to communicate. And then all I said about the need applies for that. So you want to kind of make the commercial about the affordable price that you are better in than your competitors. How about Canada? Well, actually, we are able to do this almost in any country, because in some countries we have our like respondent panels, but we also have partners all around the world, which we really tested whether they have great respondent samples. It's only problem with maybe we don't have the benchmarks there. But we can use the US benchmarks, and as you've seen, there's a lot of details, and often the testing so far was really about benchmarks, because the metrics themselves didn't say much. So it was about, are we better than those or those? Well, we are really trying to get you something useful, and that's not about the benchmarks, but about where the brand is missing and where is the emotional peak. So this all works well, and we can definitely do that in Canada, and we like to do that because Canada is a great country, and I'd like to travel there and sell it to you. How about time of ad length? Do you have time limits? What is the ideal length of the ad? Well, we don't have limits, but yeah, if you had a 3-minute ads, because there are some like on YouTube, that would be really costly, and we would prefer not to do that. So we usually test ads that are really for mobiles and digital, which it's 6 seconds or 15 seconds, and then 30 seconds or 1 minute for TV ads. What is the ideal length of the ad? Well, again, I don't have the data to show you. I would prefer shorter formats. I think if you are doing a TV campaign, you can start maybe with the 30-second ad, but as you've seen, the better ratio is with the 15-second ad. So if you're really able to put everything into the shorter format, it's, I think, better ROI. And often, actually, what companies do when they test with us is that they have a 30-second spot, and they are able to shorten it using our data, because they see what jokes were working, where's the branding strong, and what are the little parts they can cut off. So yeah, that's it for today. So thank you very much. Thank you for your questions. Please feel free to contact me and ask more, or as I've said, I'd be really happy to show you our products in a much higher detail. And that's it. So have a great day. There's some more questions. Okay, one last question. I think we still have some time. Is this kind of testing suitable for both small and big brands? Thank you. Hello, Anonymous. It is suitable for small and big brands. Actually, I think our kind of unique, maybe added value is that we really are having a lot of smaller brands. It's not for the, if you're really starting and you're a startup, it's perhaps not for you. But if you are a B2C company who has just grown a little bit bigger, and you're like an e-shop and you're starting with your brand marketing, and you're maybe just 5% of the target population knows you, then we're here to help you. And actually, because the marketing scientists, which I was telling you at the beginning, are often having data from the biggest brands, and some things work a little bit different for small and big brands. And we are working with a lot of those not smallest but smaller brands, which are growing fast thanks to the great brand marketing they're doing. And we were really optimizing this for them as well. So I think we can help you a lot. So that's it. And of course, it's for big brands. So once again, have a great day and see you soon. We're going to have some other great live events soon, I think September or something like that. So let's meet there.